Hello and welcome. Here it is, the latest from Opium. Saying it's the newest isn't exactly correct since the L model is also out. Opium is a Swiss brand that produces premium speed pedelecs. They now have 3 models. The S series, which was released in 2020 and has already received some upgrades since. Here we have the T version, an entry-level model that looks nearly identical. In fact, you can only tell by knowing the colors or gearing, or if you look closely at the logo, which flat on the T and L series, but is 3D on the S series. Although it's considered an entry-level model, it's still at a higher price point. The €8,000 price tag places this bike alongside an Ellio Max or a Stromer ST3. The Opium S version is a step higher in terms of price and parts. There, you're competing with a Spectre 1 long range or other high-end speed pedelecs like the Stromer ST5 or even ST7.
The T series is supposed to be the male version of the L. The L has a low step through and lacks this upper tube, but aside from that, they are virtually identical. It's a very stiff frame. This stiffness is partly by design, but also due to the battery, which is integrated. It cannot be removed and can only be charged via the charging port on the side of the bike. Opium decided to use a giant battery, 1,400 kilowatt hours. It's also not the type of speed bike you want to leave standing outside, so having a garage or a safe location to charge is a must when considering this bike. The bike is also quite heavy if you try lifting it. It can be done with one hand, but still at 37 kilogram, it's quite heavy. Thankfully, there's a walk assist that helps you push the bike at 6 kilometers an hour, which is very handy if you need to push the bike up a hill. It makes it much easier.
The seat post suspension is something I'd recommend. It absorbs most of the shocks and also improves comfort. It's a Kinect 3.1 that's installed here, which you can adjust for the rider's weight. Top quality, one of the best on the market at the moment. The motor is located in the rear wheel. It's a powerful motor, really great, with little to criticize. The S model might go a bit faster or have a bit more punch, but you can easily reach speeds of 40 to 45 kilometers an hour without a problem here. The engine is set up and built around increasing your wattage. Great acceleration and top speed. It's only on steep hills that you'd notice the difference with a top-of-the-line mid-drive motor or a 2-wheel drive. The Opium T series uses the proven Gates carbon belt, so low maintenance, high durability, and even more importantly, it uses a Pinion gearbox, and there's really no doubt about it. It is one of the best on the market, with only automatic shifting as a more premium option. Shifting is easy and swift, it feels smooth, and yes, the real biking feeling is preserved thanks to those good gears. The comfort of the bike. Look, it's very stiff, it's heavy, which means it really sticks to the road, and you really get the feeling that you can easily lean into the corners at high speeds. It's very maneuverable, very agile. It's important to know that at high speeds, shocks and bumps in the road hit twice as hard. That's also the case for the standard Opium T series. The frame is very stiff, you will feel the bumps and potholes. On flat roads, this is a non-issue. The Speed Pedelec is very comfortable. If you want to use your Opium T series everywhere, even on uneven surfaces, you will need some extra suspension. To solve this, you have the optional front fork suspension. An upside-down suspension by Wren, very high quality. It has about 50 millimeters travel, but that's more than enough to absorb most shocks. It's an additional cost of around €600, I think.
Also, optional is the seat suspension. This for me is a minimum to provide that base comfort. The wide handlebars, it remains very pleasant, very maneuverable, with a good turning radius. It's also clearly stated here, do not turn the handlebar more than 180 degrees, because the beautifully finished cables that go in here can twist on their axis.
Opium sells their products as quality and performance, with long distances in mind. A large battery is a must, but comfort might play an as important role. For that reason, my advice would be to pick the fork suspension depending on your route, surfaces, and budget. Fitting the bike, having it tailored to your profile and style is also quite important. Opium has several frame sizes available, but for tall and shorter riders. With the L series, they target people who prefer a step-through design, a low-step speed pedelec, while the T series is more an entry level to their premium S series. Quality was important when building this Speed Pedelec. This comes down all the way to the tires and rims. Very sturdy Vredestein tires provide excellent grip. The rims are double-walled and the double spokes ensure stability and carry capacity. By choosing these premium bike parts, the durability of the bike remains intact. The metal mudguards with solid attachments are closely mounted to the tires. This ensures little splashing, but also little noise, which can be annoying at high speeds and long rides. Besides comfort, safety is also paramount on a Speed Pedelec. Here on the T series, there are strong Magura brakes, 4 pistons, but more importantly, they ensure that you come to a stop safely. You always feel in control, and on the rear, we find the same 4 piston brakes. Even more important with brakes is that you can easily reach them. And that's the case here. You can brake with just one finger using 2 or 3. It's a 1 to 2 finger lever, high quality, high braking power, and yes, they are very responsive. You can very easily manage them. Technology and software are also important. Some choose minimal distraction, some want a larger display with options. Opium gives you the choice. Standard, we have a small display, few buttons, very easy to use and always within reach. Turning it on happens up here with the power button. The front light and the daytime running lights come on immediately. You can use a high beam function. This one is 1300 lumens and one of the most powerful on the market. With 1300 lumens, you should also know that you can blind oncoming traffic, so make sure the lamp is properly adjusted. We also see the battery level change based on your power level. And down here, this line indicates how much the motor is assisting. Through this joystick-like button, you can go into the settings to view trip time, altitude, and all other statistics. There's also navigation on this screen, though it's quite hard to see due to its size. You can upgrade to an optional comfort screen, which is placed centrally and provides better visibility. There's more than enough power. For most people, reaching 40 to 45 km an hour is easily achieved, even when climbing. We remain in the 30s, heading towards 40 km an hour if we have a good run-up, and yes, it accelerates well. So that's about it, the review of the Opium T series, which they placed in an interesting price segment. Without options, it is available for €8,000, putting it in direct competition with the Ellio Max, Klever X Speed, and Stromer ST2 or ST3 models. Thank you for listening. Hope you got something out of it, and see you next time.